This is the book of Revelation 6 and verse 5 to 6. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third be say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four be say, A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahushai, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahushai, Barakati Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors, apostles, and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutation to you, beloved Akim, that is pushing this word in sincerity and truth, with humiliation all across the four winds to you. I salute. This is the Brothers of Zion, back at you with another lesson to the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemashai. And pretty much we in some beautiful times, beautiful, beautiful times. We live in the greatest times ever and the worst times. All right. We're going to see the downfall of our enemies, Babylon, aka America. All right. And, we coming closer and closer to the end. These prophecies jumping off the pages. We're seeing what we've been preaching for years, starting from the elders and apostles on down. All right. Okay. Start from the apostles and elders on down. And, what we're seeing what we've been preaching for years manifest in real time. The prophecy is jumping off the pages. All right. You see, like the scripture said, then they shall know a prophet had been amongst them. All right. Because it's only going to get worse. All right. And a lot of people going to start crashing out. All right. As things get tighter and tighter with this squeeze. All right. This squeeze. All right. I got an article what's happening in our country, the Bahamas. It says fuel hike hits pumps as Iranian conflict drive airlines and shipping costs. You see that? Fuel hike hits pump. All right. Nassau, Bahamas. Bahamian motorists are feeling the squeeze. So this is the squeeze right now as fuel prices at Esso stations climb from $5.56 to $6.58 per gallon. You see that? That's a big increase. I think they will say see that, an increase of roughly 18%. You see that? As global oil markets react to ongoing Iran conflict, and it's gonna increase as time progresses on, because it's not gonna stop. This is gonna increase. You imagine $5. So what you accustomed to paying in January ain't the same now. Okay. This all this increase. And the food tied to the gas. You know what I mean? So it's gonna see a lot of inflation. Also in the coming time, you're gonna see a lot of empty shelves. And just a matter of time. It says Esso Sol Petroleum is one of the major fuel providers in the Bahamas, and its price adjustment is expected to ripple through the market. Vasco Bastian, vice president of the Bahamas Petroleum Retailers Association, told Eyewitness News that other wholesalers are likely to follow within days. The surge is being driven by rising global oil prices, with Brent crude, the world's primary oil benchmark, now trading around $110 to $116 per barrel. As conflict involving Iran, Israel, and the United States enter its fifth week, the impact is spreading beyond the pumps. You see that? The impact is spreading beyond the pumps. All right. So a lot of things are gonna get affected by this. Your food, your traveling, airfare, everything. Shipping costs are also rising sharply, with tropical shipping confirming major bunker surcharge increase effective April 12th for shipments between North America and the Bahamas. According to a notice published on its website, the company said the move is in response to volatility in global fuel costs and to continue providing the highest quality on-time shipping services. Tropical added that the increase will be reviewed on April 2nd and again on April the 9th to ensure it reflects current fuel market conditions, noting that adjustment is necessary to protect the integrity of our service and support the stability of Caribbean supply chain. Under the revised rate, check this out: a 20-feet dry equipment container will increase from $100 to $350, while a 40-foot dry equipment container 40 feet dry equipment container will rise from $200 to $700. A 40 feet reefer equipment container will jump from $320 to $1,120. Man, that's a big increase. You know, that's inflation, bite. The aviation sector is also feeling the pressure. Check this out: Bahamas Air, all right, is applying, one of our main airline companies is applying a fuel surcharge to reflect a roughly 55% increase in jet fuel prices. Manager Director Tracy Cooper previously told Eyewitness News the airline is spreading the added cost across passengers rather than increasing base fares, allowing the surcharge to be removed once fuel prices stabilize. But hey, it's only going to get worse. It ain't going to get better. Western Air has taken a similar approach. President and CEO Shirexia Roll previously told Eyewitness News that passengers will see minimal changes through a fuel surcharge as airline continues to monitor oil price movement. So everything is affected by this. For the Bahamas, where the majority of goods arrive by sea and domestic travel depends heavily on air transport, the combined effect is significant. Rising fuel costs are feeding into shipping, travel, and broader costs of living. Consumers can expect higher prices on imported goods, including food and construction materials, while businesses face mounting operating expenses. That's inflation. You see? Inflation. So high prices is coming. Still, there may be some relief ahead. Prime Minister Philip Davis has stated that electricity bills are not expected to increase in the short to medium term, despite rising global oil prices, as the government continues to engage energy partners and monitor impact only for so long. Additionally, effective April 1st, the government removed VAT on all unprepared food items, reducing the rate from 5% to 0%. The measures aim at easing cost of living pressures by targeting staple items such as fresh produce, meats, and baby food. Though prepared and deli foods are excluded. But at the end of the day, inflation is still coming. Inflation, is still here, and it's going to get worse. All right, so food is still going to go up. They basically try to put a bandage on the wound. Come on, everything is going to get affected by this situation over there. What's happening in the Middle East? Everything is being affected. You see that consumers can expect high prices on imported goods and including food and construction materials. So everything is going to be affected by this. Airfare, food, the pump, just the squeeze. These are the beginning of sorrows, babe. These are the beginning of sorrows, babe. And it's only going to get worse. Now, I had a chance to look up Revelation 6 and 4. The AI overview, it says, Revelation 6 and 6 describes severe global economic hardship. That's what's coming, especially famine and hyperinflation, symbolized by the third horseman of the apocalypse, the black horse. A day's wage denarius buys only enough grain to survive. You see that? Only enough grain to survive. You see? A day's wage, you make pretty much $50-$60. A day's wage only enough to survive. 1 quart of wheat, or trio of barley, representing a crisis of necessities where basic food is unaffordable. All right, and that's the times we're coming up in. That black horse. You see, key interpretation meanings: severe shortage. A denarius was typically a day's wage, usually enough to buy food around 16 quarts of wheat. This verse indicates the price has inflated eightfold. This was coming with a full day's wage buying only 1 day's bread. Oh boy, I tell you, these sometimes. Do not hurt the oil and the wine. represent the true, the hopeful elect. Command indicates limited rather than total destruction. It implies Yahweh's mercy and judgment, or that luxuries remain while staples vanish. Others interpret this to mean that basic necessities will be scarce, while items associated with wealthy or with Christian worship, oil and wine, are spared. The hopeful elect, the true, the hopeful elect. The black horse represents the third seal following war, focusing specifically on economic famine, and the high cost of living. Synonyms, related concepts: economic crisis, hyperinflation, scarcity, famine, rationing, scarcity of essential, divine judgment. All right, divine judgment. You see, these are times we're coming up into, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. You see, it's only going to get worse. I just saw this one on the End Time headline. Jet fuel spikes as airlines warn supplies could run dry within weeks. Jet fuel prices in the U.S. have more than doubled in a matter of weeks as Middle East tensions squeeze supply. Fueling concerns airlines could run short of fuel. Prices jump about $2.17 to $4.57 per gallon by March 27. According to August U.S. Jet Fuel Index, airlines warn inventories could run dry within weeks, raising the risk of higher airfares and flight cancellations. Airlines are already adjusting. United Airlines CEO Scott Kirby said the carrier will cut about 5% of planned flights, all right, in the near term of fuel cost surge, warning that if prices persist, jet fuel alone could add $11 billion in annual expenses. All right. United is also scaling back service during off-peak periods and suspending select international routes, including Israel and Dubai, to the conflict. Meanwhile, Delta Airlines CEO Ed Bastian said that fuel jet spike added as much as $400 million in costs in March alone. He said the airline is moving quickly to pass those higher costs through fare increases. American Airlines also expect fuel to add about $400 million to its first quarter expenses. The impact is also spreading beyond U.S. carriers. So you see the times we're in. All right, these are the beginning of sorrow. Those bird pains. All right, bird pains, boy. All right, it's the bird pains. These the bird pains. This is the bird pains for these wicked 2/3 of the Lord's people. This is Matthew 24:6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. All these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So all these things must come to pass, the end is not yet. All right. All these things, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All right, because ultimately that MOTB I gotta come first. That gotta be implemented. And then you have World War III. These things gonna happen simultaneously. All these are the beginning of sorrows. All right, the beginning of sorrows. All right, when you look up sorrows, the pain of childbirth, those contractions, travail, pain, and intolerable anguish, in reference to the dire calamities preceded to the advent of the Messiah. All right, consuming grief, pain. So for our people, they're gonna feel it, especially, okay. These the times. All right, this the end, boy. These the end. That black horse ain't playing, boy. That black horse ain't playing. All right. Revelation 6:4. Salakia. Salakia saying Revelation 6:4. Salakia. Right? Revelation 6:5. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. All right. Okay. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. All right. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four be say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. This the times we're in. Okay. So hard economic hardship. All right. It's here and it's only gonna get worse. It's here. It's only gonna get worse. You know, we in some beautiful times, man. We just gotta continue to enjoy to the end and pray that the Lord have mercy on us. You know? Okay. Inflation, hyperinflation is coming. Beautiful times we're living in, but I just want to bring no to spirit and bow Yahweh Shai. Yeah, man. Shalom.